you visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
Can you see my screen? This is the disclaimer regarding the course content and course material.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So who are the 7 participants today? Okay. So let's start with the topic. I think Rupa, for today's topic, maybe you can also chip in to contribute your, share your knowledge and contribute towards the training side, not on the learning side. So we will learn about transformations and routines and DTPs today. I just want to give a bit insight to this topic. Okay, we learned about transformations very briefly, but now let's deep dive and understand thoroughly what exactly are the different transformation types which can be used in BW for HANA. Okay, as the name itself is self-explanatory, it says we are doing some transformations. So it's basically meant to transform the data which is coming from the source system, or transform the data which is already available in the BW system. So in either ways, we can use this option to manipulate the source data, okay, at either at runtime, or we can persist it within the BW system. Okay, so to do the transformations, there are certain transformation rules which will help you to transform the data as per your requirement. There are various transformation rules to address the different requirements. Okay, so I believe you are seeing my PPT, right?
Yeah, right.
Sure. So with regards to transformation rules, they are used to map the source fields and target fields, and different rule types can be used for making the transformations. So a rule type is defined as an operation applied on the fields using a transformation rule. Okay, I do not get into routines and this. So there are 6 different types of transformations. We have direct assignment. So far we have seen only the direct assignment type of transformation, and then there are some other transformation types which can be used while loading the data. So for instance, if you want to use a constant value, we can use the constant transformation type. If you want to use a routine to write a BAP code to do the transformation, you can do that. Or if you want to drive a value by using a formula, like for instance, total would be, say, quantity into price. You can drive the total field value by applying a formula, and a new value could be populated into a new field at the transformation level. Okay, so the source might have only fields as quantity and price, but the target might have additional field quantity, price, and total. So we can drive a new field in target system by applying the formula or any of these other transformation types. No transformation means there would be value in the source system, but in the target system, we don't want to push the value to the target system. So this value there won't be any value, or there won't be any field. This field won't be available in the target system. That means it means no transformation. And read master data, I mean, sometimes you read the values from the master data to read the data. Okay, this is all about the transformations. Okay, so we'll try to see a few of these as an example. Okay, so let's try to I think jump into the system and look into the different transformation types. Okay. So what we will do is we'll open one of our existing objects which we created in the JMS info area and try to open any of the existing transformations which are available in the system. So for instance, there is one customer 5 ADSO, and let's see whether it has got data or not. It says there is some data here, so which is good. Yes. So there is data here. There is quantity and there is amount. So assume that this is for each quantity. This is the value. Now we want to add total as well. So a new field, though this field is not coming from the flat file, say we want to create a new field in the system now, and in the ADSO, we want to add total as well. Okay, are you guys following me? So we want to create a new field. We want to create a new field. Along with these fields, we will add additional one more field called as total. Okay, and how we can populate the value is based on the formula. The formula to drive the total value would be quantity into amount. So if we multiply both these two fields, we will get the total value because this is each. Okay. So the total, whether it would be a characteristic or key figure, what sort of field the total would be, which info object type it would be, total would be.
I think it's key figure.
It's a key figure, very good. Okay. So we go to key figure and we'll create a new info object. Okay. Right click, new key figure. Okay. We want to create a new key figure. So here we give something called as ZKF or Z total. So we say total amount and say we want to take the data type as currency and say you want to see the currency in fixed currency USD. Okay, I don't want to load the value for the total from Excel file for the currency type. I say it's a fixed currency USD. Now I want to save. Here is check every object, save, check, and activate. And then activate. So we will close the preview. We will see the properties. In the properties, the version of this object is active. This info object is now in which state? Active state. You can see here. What I did is I just created a new info object. The name of the info object is Z total. Okay. Now I want to use this info object in our ADSO. This ADSO. I'm going to append this ADSO. Okay. I'm going to append this ADSO with new field. Okay. If you see the manage data store object of the ADSO, probably so it's going to Fury app. Okay. Best user. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So there is already 7 records here. Let's try to, there is only one request. Okay. Let's try to continue with the HANA Studio part. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the new field into the ADSO. Okay. So here's the ADSO. And what I'm going to do is I want to edit this ADSO with a new field. Okay. Go to the details. Here I want to add a new info object. Okay. The info object which I want to add in this particular ADSO is ZTOTAL total. Okay. So I found my object which I created. It is available here, and I am going to insert it. Okay. Into the ADSO. See here, we have inserted our new key figure into our ADSO. What we need to do is again reactivate this ADSO. Okay. Let us reactivate it. Now what would happen is if you see the transformation of this particular ADSO, you would notice that there are no field mapping to this particular info object, which is Z total. Let's click on the transformation and see how it looks like. Click on the rules. Okay. You don't even see that, right? Z total is not available. Okay. What we will do is we'll just close this and try to reopen this transformation and see. So here we have activated our ADSO is active. We see that the values are here. The newly added info object Z total is also there in the ADSO. Okay. Now let's see the transformation again. Click on the rules. Do you see a new object Z total? Yes. So the newly added object is available here. Let's see what is the default transformation rule type for this particular info object. Okay. Before we go to the new object, let's see what is the rule type we have for our existing objects in our ADSO. Okay. So if you click here, you would say that, okay, it is not going to the rule type, it is going to the say show rule. I'll click on show rule and then it will show me the rule type. As I was trying to say, share this screen yesterday, then we have to abruptly stop the class. What I was about to show yesterday was, before I finished the session, was the different types of rules we have while creating the transformations in the BW system. Okay. So by default, if you don't pick any specific rule, the transformations always do direct assignment. Okay, let us understand in detail what does this direct assignment does. Direct assignment means you do 1:1 mapping between source and target field. Means that whatever value is coming in the source, display it as it is in the target. That is the meaning of direct assignment. Okay, you display the source value in the as is format. As I was saying, the different types of rules we have are these ones in transformations. Direct assignment. Now for this particular requirement, formula is ideally suited. We will use formula to map or to create value for total amount at runtime. Okay, we have the formula, we have the lookup, constant, routine, and no update. Okay, these are the 6 different rules. So lookup is nothing but reading the master data. Okay, that is lookup. So you can not only read master data, you can also look up another object in another ADSO or other object in the system as well. You can look up at lookup is nothing but like a reference. You can do the referencing for object at any level in the system. Okay. Now let us try to understand the way the formula works. Okay, so which one is it? Because the field is customer address characteristic, this formula is not the right option, because formula is usually applicable for key figures. So are you guys following me, or am I going like it's been a while I've been speaking and there is no response from anyone? Am I audible to you folks? James and Ken, this is especially for you, this session. So are you guys following me?
Yeah, I am. The only problem I'm trying to figure out is how to we create a new info object, but how you put it from the source to the target is I wish that you could probably go over one more time just for me to get that.
Sure.
You know, you added the total amount.
See what is happening is, if you see here, there is nothing called as Z total in the source. So on the left side of the table, you have fields which are there in the source. Okay. On the right side, you have the fields which are there in the target. Okay.
Yeah.
In the source fields, there is no object called Z total. However, I'm having additional object in the target system, in the target ADSO, called total amount. Okay. What I am trying to do is I am trying to derive the value for this particular info object, which is of key figure type, at runtime during the transformations. Okay, this particular object is not getting any values from the source file. We are applying logic within the transformations to add additional field. Okay, source has say 6 field, here we are having 7 fields in the target. Okay, that's what we are trying to learn. So for the total, by default it is no update, means that this value, if you load it with the transformation, no value would be updated to Z total. Now we are going to change the transformation type. We want to upload a new value into Z total key figure info object. Okay, we have the type here, different types of transformations. As I said, there are 6 different types of transformations. By default, for all the info objects which we have created so far, they are direct assignment. Okay, here we are going to change it now. Instead of direct assignment, we want to use a different type of transformation rule. So these are called as transformation rules. Within the transformations, there are different types of transformation rules. Okay, most commonly used rule type is direct assignment. Okay, now in this scenario, because we are driving a new value at the runtime, I want to use a different type of rule within the transformation, and that rule type I want to use now is a formula rule. Okay, I use the formula to create values for this at runtime. Okay, so rule type is formula, and here I need to edit it. Okay, I need to edit the formula so that the total value is available for us in the target system. So what I want to do is I want to use formula group source. So these are the different types of functions we have available within the formula. We can use date functions, mathematical functions, not like Excel. Excel has got a lot more functions, but still this has got heaps of functions which we can use. Okay. String functions for mysterious functions. Okay. String functions, converting date and time, numeric functions, generic functions. Okay. So format formula. Quantity into amount, QTY amount. Something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Why is it not picking the field? Okay, now it's the time for Rohit and Rupa to jump in. Rohit and Rupa, you there?
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
purposefully something wrong. Tell me what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Then I will
Just give me a moment. Actually, I was testing someone, so I just
Okay.
missed. Yeah, just give me a moment.
No problem. I will tell you what I did wrong, but I want you to answer.
Should be mapped.
Total amount. Okay, you are
So total
basically.
amount. I am trying to
it
create
is-
a formula for
Yeah.
total amount, but it is not. It is not allowing me to do it. See, I want to multiply quantity into amount. It is not allowing me to do that. Why? I want you to answer this.
First, we have to do bring both the fields to that particular total amount field. It should be mapped.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Quantity.
I think there is only one field which is mapped.
No, it is not mapped to anything. That is the reason it is not doing it. You are right.
But I can see one field is mapped.
No, it is not mapped. I was trying to create a formula.
Okay. Yeah.
Formula.
Actually,
Incomplete
due
code.
to the dialog box, I was not able to see. Yeah, no field is mapped.
There is no field is map actually.
Yeah.
So for James and Ken, what we have to do is actually total amount is derived from amount and quantity. We need these two fields. Unless and until we have these two fields in our source, we cannot apply the formula here. So what we need to do is go back to total amount. Here is the formula. Here is the total amount. You can see here, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. See here. So what you need to do is we need to first bring the source fields. Unless we bring the source fields, we can't get the formula. So source for total amount is what? Quantity and amount. We need to pick both the fields here. One is quantity. And then what is the other source field? Amount. Where is the amount here? Do you see amount? Yes. So unless we have these two fields, okay, I think we have, it's there for both, but we have used amount 001 and source is what? Quantity, QTY. Okay. QTY 001 and removing it because I want to use the same fields. I have used amount 001 and QTY 001. These are the two fields I have mapped in the system. Okay, so let me use the same fields. Okay, add fields. amount 001, and I want to add what? QTY 001. So these two fields I want to add it. Now I will go back to the formula, click on the edit option, and I can do the formula now. Amount into is here, into quantity. Okay. So the formula is created now. What would happen is we have created a formula to derive the value for this one. Now for the customer one, customer address, did I create a formula? It is wrong. I don't want to do a formula. It has to be direct assignment. Okay. It is a direct assignment. Now we save.
So Ian, a question. When would you know that it is a direct assignment and then you also need to use a formula? When are you going to see the difference between when to use a formula and when to use direct assignment?
Yes. Okay. See, I repeat what I have said so far. Just pay attention to it. What we are trying to do is we are trying to transform the data. Whatever data is coming from the source system, we want to transform it. Okay. We want to make some modifications to the data which is coming from the source. Okay. We don't want to display the data as it is. For that purpose, we use the transformations. If we need to transform it, okay. If we don't need to transform any data, so within transformations, there are different rules. If you don't have to do any modifications to the source data, you use direct assignment rule. These are called as transformation rules. There are 6 different rules used for 6 different purposes. Okay. If you want to keep source data as it is, then the type of transformation we use is direct assignment. And this rule type is by default. You don't have to go and select direct assignment rule type when you create a transformation. If you create a new transformation, by default, the system will use the rule type direct assignment. Now, in our scenario, we are going to change. What we are going to change? We are going to change the source data, but we are not actually changing the source data. In this scenario, we are adding a new field in our target. We are not modifying any source data. We are just simply adding a new field in our target. The new field name is total. Okay. How did we derive the total value? Total is nothing but quantity to amount is total. This total is not coming from the source, but we are using a mathematical formula to derive the value for total field. What is the formula? Is we multiply quantity times amount, and then we get the total amount. Okay. If you want to apply that sort of logic or formula, here we have to go to the rule type and change from direct assignment to formula. This is what we did. So by default, if you see the rules now, for total amount, it says F. So this is the rule type formula. But whereas for all the other, if you see the lines here, it says what? What is the rule type? Direct assignment. So far, whatever we created in our BW system, all our objects, we used a very standard rule type, which is direct assignment. We did not change anything. This is the first time I'm showing you how to change a standard rule type from direct assignment to some other rule.
Formula. Okay.
Correct. This time we are using formula. With the help of using the formula rule type, we will see that a new value would be displayed in our ADSO when we reload it. Okay. So let us activate this. Once we change the transformation, we need to again rechange or reactivate the DTP as well. Sometimes if it gives trouble, we delete the DTP simply and we recreate it. Deleting DTP and recreating will not cause any problem or issues for us. Okay. If you want, you can do that. Now let us see whether this transformation is active. Yes, it says here active. If you want, you can go to the properties and you can see that the status for the transformation is active. it's showing about the address. Okay, I don't want to see the address, but I want to see the status of the ADSO transformation, which is active. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? We need to also go and see whenever you change the transformations, the DTP becomes inactive. So you double click the DTP and you need to activate the DTP. Is it clear? Now the
Yeah.
DTP is active. What we do is once we activate the DTP, we need to reload the data. Unless and until we reload the data, we will not know whether our transformations are working fine or not. So we'll try to reload the data. I haven't changed anything in the source. So I reckon my source file is there as it is. There is no change to the source file. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And let's see. So it says that the request is what? The request has been successfully loaded. So which means that by default, what would happen? Where does the data goes? It goes into which field? Which table, sorry? New data table, or what is it called? So the data is now available in the new data table. Let us see how the data would appear. Manage data source. Preview, if you want, you can see the data as well. Preview data. Amount, quantity. This is the role group. Okay, let us see we have seen this preview of the data. Now let us go back and administer the data target. What is it? This data is not yet activated. If you right click here and see here, inbound table is also called as new data table. Okay. The data here in the inbound table is available. Customer, quantity, amount. Where is the total? Here we see the total as well. This is the new field. Can you see my new field?
Yeah.
And here,
Yeah.
these are the old fields, quantity and amount. If you multiply this, try to see here, okay? I just push the position of the total field. Now my total is here. My quantity is 1, amount is 3, total is 3. If the quantity is 2, amount is 2, total is 4. 1, 25, 25, 380, 240. So we have seen that a new field has been derived and the value is being populated for the new field. Is it clear? Now this data needs to be pushed to active data table. So we need to activate this. Select it and activate it. So we activate this request. And then if it is active here, it is green. So the status is already in the active data table. Now let us see the values in the active data table as well. You right click here and say display active data. Number of entries only 7 because the data gets what? Overwritten. And depending on the keys, the data gets aggregated. Depending on the key, we got the aggregation and we have got 7 records. Now, if you see here, quantity and amount in total, okay. Again, I move here. So 133, 25, 500, 4, 25, okay. So this is how we applied the transformation to transform the data. This is a very powerful feature in BW, and it is very, very widely used. We use a lot. Now, we have seen only two types of transformations so far. One is direct assignment, the other one is
Formula.
formula. There are four more different types of transformation rules which we can use. The third and the easiest among all is the no update. Okay, I will show you the third type of transformation. Before I show you the third type, is this, whatever I have shown, is this clear so far? Did you understood?
Yeah.
Okay. What you do is, when you practice it, follow this video, you would just try to listen to it once and then practice the transformations using formula and other rule types. Then you will you can recall and practice yourself easily. Okay. The next type of rule I want to show you is no update. It is the easiest and simplest among all. Okay. For instance, I don't want to display the customer address. It is consuming a lot of space in the system. Though it is there, I don't want to delete this field from my DSO. I want to keep it in the DSO, maybe for future use. I might use it sometime after a few months, but at the moment I don't want to delete it from the DSO, as well as I don't want the data to get populated to this particular field. Okay, the field would be there in the DSO, but the value for this field should become blank. Are you getting me? My requirement is different now. There is a new requirement wherein I don't want to delete this field from my DSO, from my target. However, I don't want any values from the source to get populated into this field in the target. I want it to be blank. Okay. Have you understood my requirement? Okay.
Yeah.
Customer address, when I load the data, I should see that there is no value in the customer address field. If you see currently here in our current scenario, for the customer address, it says some city, Michigan, Bangalore, Texas, whatever it is. Okay. Now I don't want to see this value for customer address. I will, when I load it, reload it, it will be blank. Even though my source file has these values, but my target will have blank. So this value is already there in the source Excel file. If you want to see the Excel file, I will show the Excel and reload it. Okay. You will then understand that my source is bringing the value, but why my target is not bringing the value? Because that's a requirement. I don't want my target to show any value. Let's see my flat file. This is the flat file. Which one are we using? Customer 1 or customer 2? I can't remember. Let us open the, where do I check what is my source file? Who can tell me between James and Ken? Between James and Ken, who can tell me like which source file I am using in this DTP? How do I know?
You mean the source file?
Yes. How do I check?
Flat file.
Yeah, the flat file.
check?
Yes. How, yeah. Where do I see the flat file name? Where do I see it? Do I see it in the transformation or do I see it in the DTP? Where can I see my flat file?
You see it in the transformation.
No, not in the transformation. I see the flat file in the DTP.
DTP?
In the DTP, if you click on the extraction tab, you would see the file name. Do you see here file name?
Oh, okay.
This is the file location. So what I am interested in is whether I'm using customer 1 file or customer 2 file. That was my requirement. I'm not using customer 2. Okay. I will close this customer 2 Excel. I'm using customer 1 Excel. Okay. Okay. Let us see whether customer 1 has got Michigan and Bombay and Bangalore other fields. Is it having those fields? Yes. See, the customer address has got fields now. The values, city names in the customer address. When I load the data, it should not bring, even though this file have got the data, I don't want to see the data in the field. This is my requirement. Okay. How do I do that? Very simple. Go back to transformation again. For the customer address, double click. Okay. Sorry, don't double click. It will show the field. right click here and say show rule. By default, it is already showing me the rule. Even though if you don't do anything, it will show the rule. If you click on the rule here and select the field, it will show the rule. So there are multiple ways in BW to perform one task. Okay. By default, you will be in the general tab. But if you click on the rule tab, then at the bottom, you will see rule for each of the fields. Now I'm interested only in customer address. I want rest all fields to have the values as it is. What I'm going to do now, I am going to change the rule type. Now you tell me what is the rule type I need to select for customer address. These are the 6 different rule types. Which one should I select based on your logical understanding of it so far? Should I select formula or should I select lookup? Which one should I select? If I want the value to be blank.
Yes,
Lookup.
it's already is in direct assignment.
So direct assignment means it will bring the value from the source. It will show the whatever fields values are there in the source in the Excel, Michigan and other cities, Bangalore and so on, Texas. All those fields would be displayed here. All those values would be displayed here. But I don't want that to display. I want it to be blank. So which rule type do I need to pick?
No, yeah, I am thinking you go for no update.
Perfect. You are right.
No update.
So we have to select, we have to pick no update. When I pick no update and activate it, okay, you will see that, okay, if it is active, revised version, now it should change to active. Perfect. It is active. If you see here, there is no mapping. See, the mapping is gone. It's missing. Means that it is no update. What is the rule type? Show rule?
No.
No update. Okay.
No update.
Perfect. Now, as soon as we make change to a transformation, the corresponding DTP will get what? Inactive. Okay. In this case, I don't see that it has become inactive, but still let us activate it because we have not made any new changes. So it did not become inactive. We just reactivate the DTP as well. It's always make it a habit, even though it might get activated or inactive. It might get inactive sometimes or not. Irrespective of that, whenever you make change to transformation, always activate the DTP. We have activated the DTP as well. Let us load the data back into ADS. So sorry. Okay. How do I load the data? Who can tell me? Where should I click? In transformation or DTP? How do I load the data? Should I load the data from transformations or DTP? Where do I load the data? Where is the option?
You load it from DTP, right?
Perfect. We load it from DTP. Now in this screen, where is the option or which icon I need to click to load the data into this ADSO? Can anyone help me in
navigating? Go to file name and then you browse. You hit on browse.
Browse?
You go to the browse on the adapter settings, the file name. On your left side, you're all the way to right. No, yeah, this one, yeah, right there.
Why do I need to browse here? No, this is showing me the source file reference.
This is the source. So you want it to go to the target?
No, I just want to load the data. That's it. I want to load the data into ADSO. How do I load the data? Where is the option to load the data? We have seen it few times, at least 10 times so far.
That sometimes is very fast. So I think we use one of those browsing icons and the right side.
Not the icons. We use one of the icons here. Tell me now, which icon should we click to load the data?
Yeah, can you
among all these icons
so I can read what it says, because sometimes it says what to do when.
James, what do you think? Which icon should I use? Which?
And that's showing the paperclip up there. I can let's probably use the cursor to show it.
Ken, what do you think? Which icon should I click to load the data?
Yeah, I think
is it here? Which one should I click?
The one with the
arrow.
Perfect. So the one with the arrow, the green icon, I should click to load the data. This, just remember it, don't forget it. Okay, when you practice it, you need to know that I have to click here, you have to click here to load the data. This is play button, it's nothing but you are loading the data into your what? Target system. Whatever is the target, you load it. Okay, so here click on the arrow, and then what should I do? If I have to load the data, I need to what? Execute. Correct. So what it does is, whenever you execute a DTP, a new request system will generate. That is called as data load request. Whenever you execute a DTP, I repeat, a new request is generated for the system to load the data. And the name of that request is called as a data load request. Okay. So here it says that there is a new request to load the data has been, triggered in the system on so and so time, on so and so date at so and so time, and it says the request number as well, whatever it is. Okay, and say click on continue. Once we click the request, then it will show the status of the request, whether my load is successful or failure. Here the request has got the status said as processed successfully, means that whatever data we loaded from the source is now successfully loaded into what? Our BW system. Do you want to display the request monitor? Yes, I want to see what my request monitor says. Do you see here the 10 data records, whatever was there in the Excel has been loaded. Header, it says all the status about our request. It took 55 seconds, and this is my source. Okay, data source name is ZDS_cust5. My transformation name is so and so. My target DTP is ZADS_C5. This is my DTP name. Who is the user who has loaded this request? This is the request. Request template. This is the request template, a technical name. Package size, maximum in one package. It can go in multiple packages. It will load 1 million record, which means that if you have more than 1 million records, the data will get loaded into two groups. First group will load only 1 million. Anything above 1 million up to 2 million will load into a second request, then the third one. So this data will get loaded in chunks. So 1 million is nothing in BW world. We have a majority of our inventory data.
And I have a question. So if you have a data package of 2 million, did you say it's going to upload the second 1 million by itself?
Yeah, it will do it by itself. You don't have to do anything. It will do by itself. But what it does is, it will internally do the marking into two groups. So group one, it will load only first 1 million. Once it loads the 1 million, then it will start loading the second million records after 1 million. So first, because it doesn't want to choke the system performance. So what it does is, it does load into batches after in a sequential order, one after the other. So if there are 10 millions, it will load into 10 batch, but it does automatically. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Then we see here all the 10 records have been loaded. Now, where do I see the option to see the contents? It's here, administer data target. Shift F1 is the shortcut. Okay. So if I press Shift F1, I don't want this, I cancel it. I see the load request here. What it says is the status. This particular request which we loaded is inactive. What we need to do, we have to activate this particular request. How do I do that? Right click, activate. But before I activate, I just want to show you the inbound data table. I'm just repeating it so that you understand and remember the process in which the data gets loaded into ADSO. In ADSO, we have three tables: inbound table or new data table, which acts just like a queue. But the actual data which we look always gets resided into active data table. Okay, active data table is the main table where we load or persist the data, whatever data we need. Okay, but for any load, initially the data gets where it gets loaded into inbound table. Once we activate it, the data gets moved from inbound table to active data table. Inbound table is like just a temporary storage area. That's it. It's just for temporary storage. Why we had this concept of inbound table is that sometimes your ADSO can get data from three different sources, and then we consolidate the data and then push it to active data table. In that scenario, you don't want to put too much burden on the system. What we say is that, okay, first get everything into the inbound table, and then once you activate, then the SIDs gets generated, the reporting IDs get generated for the ADSO, and then it gets moved to the active data table. To improve the performance, we have this two tables in place in ADSO. Okay, but again, this concept could have been simplified if I am the architect of new BW for HANA. I would try to simplify it. I want to get rid of it. I would not, because we are on a HANA DB, I want to leverage the performance of HANA. I would say that, okay, if I want to create, if I am the solution architect for designing the product like BW for HANA, I would get rid of inbound table. I keep it only one table, which is active data table, and then manage it, active data and change data, and then manage it. That's it. Okay. But again, it all depends on the mindset of the person who have developed this product. In short, you need to remember that first stage where the data gets loaded in majority of the cases in standard DSO is into inbound table. So I want to see the content here. Do you see the contents? Now in the inbound table, do you see any value for the customer address?
No.
But we have the value in the flat file. We have seen that in the flat file there was value. Even though it had values, we did not see any value in our customer address because we did not want to have that. We want to show it blank, so it is showing us blank. So there would be sometime a requirement for you to not to show any values. Customer will say that my requirement is that even though whatever value comes from the source field, you have the field, but keep the field as blank. Do you understood now what we were trying to do with the rule type 3, which is no update? Now I will activate it. Right click, activate. Once I activate, this data gets moved where? From inbound table to which table? Active data table. Let's see whether we can see any data in the inbound table. If I see the inbound table now, because it is already activated, okay, if I see the inbound table, what should happen is it should show me the blank values. There shouldn't be any data in the inbound table because now the data got moved to active data. We see the message here, no table entries found for a specific key. Likewise, let's see the active data table. When we click on the active data table and see the number of entries, it says there is some data here in the active data table. And do we see values for customer address? Yes. Why? It did not got overwritten. Now question to you both, Rupa and Rohit. Why our values did not got updated in the active data table? It should have been blank, right? As per our requirement, but it still shows value. Rupa and Rohit, you there?
It's the earlier values.
Yeah, why it is showing the earlier values, Rohit? Why is it not showing the blank values? Have you come across similar requirement anytime in your projects?
No, actually, I haven't used this particular rule type. I'm aware of the functionality that It basically, when the data set is being loaded and one of the fields in that data set is being set to, use this rule type of, this is basically used for constant, right? Or not constant. What's the rule type? Blank value, right?
Yes, yes, blank values.
Yeah. So yeah, they should not. There's no mapping for this, and by default it shows zeros in this field, in the particular field.
I will tell you, yes, by default it should have shown 0, but it does not show 0.
Is there any
I'll tell
mapping
you.
already?
Sorry?
Is there a mapping for this particular field from the source?
There is no mapping, no? We just saw it, right? There is no mapping, but
Yeah.
still, see, there is no mapping, but still we see that the value does not get reflected.
It
See,
is
what
activated,
happened
right?
is it is already activated. See, it's active.
Okay, so
Activation.
from the change log, it is bringing.
Okay, let's see the change log. So you debug it. I can tell you what the answer is or how to do it, but I want you to debug and tell me what's
the
happening here.
initial value? Which the
So can you
before
explain to the
images.
team? Can you explain this change log? Can you read the change log and explain to James and Ken?
Yeah, sure. Could you please help me out with the field for which field we had done the blank mapping? This customer address. Okay. So earlier it was the before image is basically denoted by record mode X. So whatever the earlier value is, it will be shown by X. So once we have loaded another record with same key combination, the earlier values will be shown as X and the newer values will be shown as blank record mode. So over here again it is showing blank. Sorry, Bangalore. It is again the value has come up according to the transformation. It should have been a blank over here.
It should have been blank, correct?
Yeah. Because all the other fields are updated. Like if you see the records, last two records, the Rakesh, the key fields are updated. Sorry, the key figures values.
What is it? This one. So if you see the change log, I will tell you. Okay. So this is the previous one. Okay. So
But
the previous change log with the previous request.
okay, could you please filter out, use a filter in the whole changelog table, not by going into request by request, the whole changelog table, and then we can filter the one particular attribute or characteristic, and we can see what is happening. What is the actually what is the actual scene? We can just have it by looking at the whole changelog table. I think it is showing for request by request when we are selecting it. I want to see the whole changelog table of a particular attribute or particular record.
Okay, where can I see that?
Yeah, even I'm actually in in the earlier version, I'm able to do that using the SAP GUI, our standard SAP GUI, but I don't know how we
What do you do
it.
in SAP where?
Double click on the particular ADS, and then there is an option at the top. There's a topmost towards the left. There's this option to see the changelog active table and all. Are we able to use SC11 or things like that? So we can just use the changelog table in that.
Yeah, we can go to SC11. No?
Yeah, then that will be okay. We can just go and check the changelog table into that.
What is the technical name of the changelog table?
Right click, change log table, and then afterwards we will be able to see. Yeah, this is the technical name. We can just pick one attribute, and using that we will analyze further what is happening.
Let's keep it open.
Yeah.
And so for both, I will tell you, James and Ken, what we are doing, and then I will tell you why it is not displaying. Okay. I just want to dig deep and just see something. What we are doing is we want to see the change log table at a table level from the database level itself. So we go to SAP GUI, okay, and access our table through database dictionary. To access the data dictionary, the T code is S11, and here we want to see the same table, whatever we have it here. Okay, this is the table name. Slash BI is for business intelligence, C for custom created objects. Okay, A is for what? It's an active data table, no?
Yes, it's basically denoted for active data table, but underscore C53, whether it's the original name or it has come up in this particular.
I'll tell you. A is for active, whereas C5 is our name. ADSO, ZADSO,
various tables are
C5 is the
created.
name. 3 is for change log, 2 for active data, 1 for new data table.
Yeah,
Okay?
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Correct. Now you got it. You remember it now. Very good. Okay. So how do we denote? BIC is our business intelligence. C for custom info object. A for active. ZADSO underscore C5. This is the name of the ADSO. And 3 for change log table. Let's see whether it shows a table here or not. Yes. So this is the fields of the change log table. All those fields of the change log table. Where do I see the content? Here. I go to S11. I enter the change log table name, and I go for the content. When I click on the content, it will show me the entire content of the change log.
Yeah. So we can use one record and then analyze further what is actually happening.
Over to you now.
Yeah, just select one key, customer ID one, and then afterwards we'll see. Only the customer ID one filter, put a filter on customer ID one, C001, and let's just see what is happening.
Yeah. So here we use how to use table. We just filter the values here. Okay. Rohit and Ken, what I am doing is, instead of all those fields, I just want to filter it on only customer C001. What I did, I selected this here, and this is a filter. Okay. If you want to do the total of this one, what you can do is put a total here, sigma. It will show you the total of all. It's 6,000 something. Okay. There are minus values, there are negative values, plus values, but final value is 6,000. Okay. So now,
yeah. So
I did a filter on the customer C001.
Yeah. So customer address is the one which we are focusing to be blank.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I think it's basically the older values which is being shown. What I think.
It is showing the old value. Which?
Yeah.
So which record mode shows me the old value? Can you explain about the record modes and what does N denote and X denote and blank?
Yeah. Whenever a record which has come up into the DSO for the first time, it will be denoted by record mode N. And suppose there is a change in that particular record, like maybe a key figure value has been changed, for example. So if that particular record comes up, so what system will do, it will nullify the older value. So you can see that particular record as X. So as you can see, guys, just highlight the fourth record. Yeah. So you can see the amount. Could you please go to the minus 3000? Yeah. So if we can see, just focus on the C001 laptop record, and you can see the amount 3000 has been nullified by minus 3000, and it has been represented by record mode X. So that's the system's answer, and it is being denoted by X. So it is basically saying that this value is no longer valid and marked as X. So the text for X is uh, uh, before image, and after image will be marked as blank. So you can see the below value. Yeah. And you can see the record mode is blank for that. So that, which means that it is an after image.
This is a new value.
Yeah, it's a new value. Yeah. So
Correct.
this is basically called as after image. Yeah. So whenever a record, a change record has come up into the system, just remember that there will be two records created for that particular record. Considering that the record has been already updated into the DS. So yeah, so whenever a same record has come up from ECC, maybe a change in key figure or something like that, you will always see that there will be two records created in changelog. One will be before image and after image. So for each record, there will be two records.
Thank you
So
very
and
much.
so the blank record mode, that is the after image, that will be transferred to the active table. Yeah.
Perfect. So very good explanation, Rohit. I think if I remember well, you have also explained same thing in the past as well. This is the second time you did a very good explanation. Much appreciated. Thanks again.
Thank you.
What I want is basically I want both Ken and James to share their understanding of this changelog table. I want you to understand it thoroughly because this concept is very important for you to understand. Based on this concept only, then you can correlate your requirements. When you work on a project, you need to understand how the ADSO is behaving internally. What makes the ADSO to update the values within the ADSO. I believe Rohit has given a very good explanation. I'm not sure whether you guys were able to follow it or not, because I'm pretty sure for the new learners, it would take a bit of time to understand it. Might not be possible to understand 2-3 times as well. So if you don't understand, if you didn't understand anything, then let me know. I will re-explain it for a few minutes.
Yeah, you can go over it again.
You can go over it a little bit.
Sure. So and if you want me to explain it twice, thrice, happy to explain, but don't skip it. Try to understand it. That's the significance of this particular table. As we all know, whenever we create an ADSO, 3 tables gets created. Okay, one is a temporary table, inbound table. It acts as just like a structure. It really does not hold the values forever. Okay, that is just like a temporary staging area. So we are least worried about the.
Sorry to interrupt you, but actually the issue which we were analyzing, the value should be blank. So what's the reason for that?
I will tell you after this explanation. Okay. Sure. I will explain you after this explanation. Sure. Just because I don't want to skip this topic, it's very important for James and can just
not a problem.
Give me a few minutes. Okay?
Yes, sure.
So we are learning something new as well today with regards to transformations. When we update it, why the value is not getting updated into the active data table. But let's see that the issue what we were trying to address later. Let us understand the functionality of the ADSO. Okay, so ADSO comprises of 3 tables. What are the 3 tables? Tell me both. James and Ken, what are the names of the 3 tables?
So we have the inbound data table, we have the display change log, and then we have the display active data.
Perfect. So we have active data table, inbound table, and change log table. Inbound table is also called as new data table as well. Active data table is also called as activation queue table as well. Okay, and change log is change log. Okay, so inbound table is just a temporary storage area. Okay, we don't have to worry much about the inbound table. When we activate the data, then the data gets moved from inbound table to active table. So your actual table for in which you would be interested is active data table. Now, before the data gets loaded into the active data table, there is something called as, for every load, a new, object is there which manages the records which get updated into the ADSO, and that is called as change log pointer. Okay, there is something called as change log pointer in the system which manages this. And what is the change log pointer? It is nothing but the we have record mode, 0 record mode. When we create an ADSO, there are some, I have explained this in the past as well. When we create ADSO, there are some standard system defined info objects which bring the data. Okay, so basically there are 3 different info objects. This is just the counter. Okay, forget about this. This is just the record numbers. It's just like a sequence number. Okay, but actually there are 3 different info objects which gets created along with the ADSO. For every ADSO, there are 3 standard objects gets created. One is request number. Second one is data packet ID, data pack ID or data package ID. Third one is record mode. It is with the info object 0 record mode. Okay, that this is getting tracked. What is request number? Request number is the request through which we loaded this data. How many requests are there so far in the system? We see that 1, 2, 3. This is only one, and I think even the 4th one. So we have only one request so far. No, it's a different date. Sorry, my bad.
That one is a, yeah.
That's a different one. So sorry, 1, 2, 3. This is one request. Okay, we loaded the data once. Then this is another request. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see? It's the same name. So far we have loaded twice. When we loaded the first time, only 3 records got created. Okay, because it was loaded for the first time, there were new records. The record mode pointer pointed it as end. And when we loaded the same record twice, again similar record.
Ian, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I would just like to suggest you that to make it more simplifying, you can just add another filter for product laptop, and then they will be all, it will be more easier to understand then.
You are right. You are right.
Yeah, exactly.
Good advice. Thank you. I totally agree with you.
The lesser the records, the lesser the complication. Yeah. So now it's very easy now to understand.
Very easy, correct.
Before, after.
So what we did is, just to give you a bit of background, we have just filtered it out to make this explanation simple. What Rohit has suggested is to narrow down the number of records and show only for one particular product type and one particular customer only. This is combination of these 2 fields is my key. Actually, the ADSO is based on these 2 fields. The key for the ADSO is customer ID and product. So we are seeing only one product. In the first request for the laptop, when customer data C001 was loaded for the product laptop, we see that the quantity was 1 and the amount was what? 3000. But for the total amount, nothing was there, because at that time the total amount field was not created. Okay, so don't look into this field. This field we will look at a later stage. Okay, so when this data was loaded for the first time, it was a new record. For the new record, the amount was 3, 1 was the quantity. Then when it got reloaded it again, what it does is it will see what are the delta changes it is bringing. So the previous data, whatever was there, it gets overwritten in the ADSO. So it deletes the data, whatever was there in the new record. This is the before image. So the before image gets applied and it deletes the previous entry. So here 3000 was there, here you see minus 3000, means that the previous record got nullified. Whatever was there in the previously, it will get deleted. And this is the value we loaded through the new Excel. In Excel also, we did not make any changes, hence it kept the same value. What I will do is, in the next time, I will just reload it to 5000 and let us see. Okay, we will change the Excel value to 5000 for the laptop price for customer C001. Instead of 3000, we'll make change to 5000 and we will see what it displays. Okay, before I take it forward for a further explanation, let me reload it with the 5000 and see. And one last thing, as I said, if the records are more than 1 million, it would say that data pack ID as 2. Okay, now I'll change this and show you that we can load the data into two data packets ID as well. Okay, let us change the Excel first. Cust 001. So for James C001, I want to change it to 5000. Okay, I have changed it. It's changed. It's a bit funny the way the CSV file behave. Is a bit typical. So what I'm going to do is, before we address the previous issue why it did not got loaded, let us try to see and understand how this behave, the change log table. Then we'll go back. Okay, I'm going to go back to my DTP and load it. Where do I click in the DTP to load the data? Can anyone tell me? I have to reload the data.
Green button right there. You hit the green
Perfect.
button.
Correct. And then
Execute.
perfect. Then click on the execute. So now it is reloading the data. Let us see how the new data would look like in the new data table. Okay, before we go into the active data table. I go to administer data target, I close this and I see here the data is not yet active. I go to inbound table and see that there are 10 records. And for customer C001, for where is laptop? For laptop, it was 3000. Okay. What is happening for the C001?
I don't know if it was something to
It
do
didn't
with
pick
saving
this value, Rohit.
Yeah.
See, it is still saying 3000 in the new data table. It's something wrong. Why? If you see here, it should be 5000, right? Okay, let's filter it on this one. Laptop, mobile, and printer 3000, 2500, and 500. Huh? Okay, let us go back again and try to investigate further and understand why it didn't pick the it did not save amount quantity. Okay, there are multiple amount funds I think we should have deleted this. Maybe it took this amount.
The second one.
Second one. That's the reason.
The one with 3,000.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. But if you change the sequence, it would. Let's
You
change it.
haven't mapped it, right? We are not using in the data source.
Yeah, we have not mapped it, right? Doesn't matter, so we can delete it, right? Okay, we have deleted that. Does the sequence matter? Let's not delete it. Let's keep it and save it. Okay, we just saved 5,000, and let us. Let us reload it. Go here. I'm reloading the file again. Browse, execute. Okay, request is loaded. Before I go further, I will go to the administer data target and check. So here I have to click on the administer data target, shift F1, and then close this one. And I right click, say display inbound table. Here is 5,000. Okay, now I will activate it. Let me activate and see how the changelog table would behave and what value it will display in the active data table. Okay, I go back here, I right click here, activate, and activate both the request. Once I activate it, I refresh it, then it's active. Once it is activated, you can go and see the active data table. And in the active data table, number of entries are 7, which is fine, and the value is 5,000, so which is good. How this 5,000 is reflected? So the ADSO works on the concept of overwriting the values. It does not work on the concept of aggregation. Okay, InfoCube used to work on the concept of aggregation. Okay, so how the ADSO works is it will overwrite and display the value. So what it does, we go to the changelog table now. Okay, and see the content of changelog table. Right click, display changelog table. Okay, as Rohit suggested, we will filter it out only on a particular customer so that it is easy for you to understand what we are referring to. And we'll also filter it out only for a particular. Now I think here it does not show because we are looking only for one request. It does not give us complete clarity. Let us see here in the database layer. Okay, here is my database table in S11. I am looking at the contents of the changelog table from the database perspective. So there are previously 45 records. Now we loaded it twice, 63 records now. Okay, so what's going on? Yes. Did I filter on something? Or it's already filter runs. See, there are already filters applied here, C001 and laptop. Okay. So we have already filtered on customer ID and product. So customer is C001 and product is laptop. Now, if you see here, the first time when we loaded new record, okay, it was 3000. Then 3000, second time we loaded, it nullified the previous 3000 and created a new record with 3000 value. Third time we loaded, it nullified the previous 3000 with this one, and then it created a new file, new value 5000. Try to listen to this video, watch this video a couple of times, then you will understand how the change log will behave. Okay, so whenever we make changes, the values are getting changed. Okay, now because these are the key figure values, because these are the value for the customer address is what, you know, it is not the key figure, it's a characteristic values. We have to delete the data and reload it to make the changes. Okay, you can't see it. Only for the new values, it will, if there is a new record, then it will not display the value. I will show you something. What would happen is, say in the customer one, we will add another customer, okay, to our database. Okay, we will add another customer C005. We will say Rohit. And Rohit, where are you from? Bombay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's from Mumbai. Okay, what will happen is, because it's a characteristic value, so Rohit is born in 2000 and his date of birth is say, so okay, and your bank is SBI.
You actually guessed it right.
That's good. And so you're interested in purchasing, say, what gadget do you want? Say, smartwatch.
Yeah, I can only afford that. Can't afford printer, laptop.
Okay, so say it's $100. Okay, or it is one. Okay. All good. Okay. Now I will show you something. Now what should happen is, for all the other entries, it will still display the values, but for Rohit, it should not show us the city. Okay. Do you understand the difference between characteristic values and key figures? Both Ken and James? I believe you understand it thoroughly now, right? The
Yeah.
difference between characteristic and key figures. Okay.
Yes.
So let us try to reload it. Okay. Let us try to reload the values, and we will see the maybe it will increase your understanding on how this is behaving. Okay. Let's try to execute again. I'm reloading it. So James, do you still think you need assistance in tomorrow's session, or are you now comfortable? We can cancel tomorrow's session then for flat file load.
For this one, yes, I'm comfortable because I've done it multiple of times. But the other ones, like the composite provider and the open ODS, so how do you activate it? Or that's where I have problem. Yeah.
No problem. So let's keep the class tomorrow. I don't think I can take more than 1 hour tomorrow, but let's try to do whatever we can do in 1 hour tomorrow.
Not a problem.
Okay. So between between 9 to 10 we will do it tomorrow, and then if we can't finish, then we will have another session on Wednesday as well. Okay.
Okay.
So in these two
And
sessions we will try to
what
finish it.
link are we using? We're gonna use
This just today's link. We will use today's
Okay.
link.
Same link. The same link.
Same link. Today's link we will use, and same time. Whatever we started today, same time we start tomorrow and Wednesday as well. I think Rohit,
7.
it's up to you if you want to join. It's just a recap of the previous session, just to give a bit of comfort to both Ken and James. If you want, more than welcome to join. So here, right click, display inbound data. So nothing is displayed in the inbound data, and we see a new value here for Rohit. Okay. Now let's try to activate it. Okay. Let's activate this. I believe today's class is very helpful for you. You have got very good understanding about ADSO now. In the meantime, till it takes some time to activate, Ken, I got an update from the support team. Somehow they got you access from a different vendor. Actually, they had some issues with the existing vendor. I don't know what sort of issues, but they organized to get system access for you from a different vendor. If you want, after this session, we will just maybe in next 5-10 minutes, once we close this session, both James and Rohit can drop off. I can show you how to access it.
Okay, that's fine.
So here we have activated, the data is active, and it says only one record got updated. Okay, it got only one record got updated. We will see the active data. Now here 8 records should be there. Previously 7, now it is 8. Do you see here the difference? What would happen is the values get, oh, Rohit, you there? Does it drop off? Rohit, can you respond? Not sure whether it's there or not. Okay. So the most important point which I'm trying to emphasize here in this particular exercise is that previously, for previous records, it did not, the rule did not, overwrite the values. It did not made it blank. The reason being that the way the ADSO is created to overwrite is only for key figure info objects, not for the characteristics. Are you getting my point? It does not override the characteristic values. It just overrides the key figure values. The way it was designed to function was, if you have to make changes, then you need to delete the complete data from the ADSO and reload it. So if you want to apply the new rule with no update for customer address, which is a characteristic type info object, then you need to first delete the entire contents of this particular ADSO and then reload it. Then you will notice that it will be blank for all the values. Okay, let's do that. Do you understand what I say just now? Both?
Yeah.
You understood, right? I think Rohit
Yeah.
got disconnected. So now you will understand and appreciate the way the ADSO is behaving. Okay, let's try to delete it. We can just do deletion through several ways. We can just select all the requests and delete it like this. Okay, we can do select all. How do I select all? Okay. So we have selected all the requests and say delete. Then there is another way to delete it is right click here and delete data is not there. It will delete the complete ADS itself. Okay. So here we just delete the object here. Okay. There if you click right click and delete, it will delete the complete ADS itself. I am deleting the complete data for this ADSO. And I will reload it, refresh it. It would take maybe a minute or so to delete it, but once it is deleted, then so to delete the data or to delete this request, this is the option. Select all the request and delete it. Yellow means this request is in process. So it has started deletion. It is still not deleted all the records, all the requests. It is still deleting it. Okay, once it deletes all the records, all the requests, then you will have blank. So which means that there is no data in the ADSO in any of the tables, neither new data table, changelog table, or active data table. Let's restart the load. Okay, I'm reloading again. See, the best way to learn is to do the trial and error. You encounter mistake, you try to address it. Okay, and forget about what I am doing or what I have shown. Try to learn using help from Google. That's where you learn lots of things. Okay, you understand the way you need to put, search criteria in Google to address your requirements. I have worked with lots of good people who had excellent skills in searching the content in the Google. So if you have proper Google searching skills, then even though if you don't remember what I have shown or taught, you can just these days Google it, you will get the information. Okay. And before you go to that stage, just try to practice so many things, trial and error, and then you will understand. Now we are in the new data table. We have seen that in past also in the new data table, it was always showing blank. Okay. Now let's move on to activation. Let's activate. There are multiple ways to activate it. You can right click, activate, or you can activate here as well. We can say right click, activate. Here also you can do, here also you can do. Both is one and the same. There is no difference. I click here, activate, it is one and the same. Say activate. Okay. So now it is activating the content. I refresh it. It says it is active. 8 records have been loaded. Let's see the content. Now, as per my explanation, this should now show me what? Blank values. If it doesn't show us blank values, means that there is some major issue in the object itself. Okay. Do you see? So no update is working. Fine. It is showing blank values now in the ADSO. Is it all clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to show 2 more things before I wrap up today's session. Might need to extend it by another 15-20 minutes. If you have time, I will continue. If you don't have time, then we have to do it Monday. But I prefer to do it now. If you have time, that will be good.
I can go ahead.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have time.
Good, very good. Let's close this topic of transformations and DTP today. So what's the third rule type? We saw so far 3 rule types. Can anyone name what are the 3 different rule types we have seen so far?
We have the direct assignment, the formula, and the no update.
Perfect. Now let's see the 4th easiest one, which is the constant. Okay. What I want to do is, I have a customer address I want to say that, okay, all my customer address is in one city. I want to just constant, make it constant. Say that everyone is there in Chicago. Okay. I want to make a constant value. I just say that for all the customers, assume that the country specific or city specific customers are there. Okay. I have made a constant value. And activate it. So if you see the rule type, it says C here. F means formula, C for constant. Now I changed it. Instead of no update, I say that irrespective of whatever is Excel bringing the values, the source values, I only see Chicago. Okay, that is my requirement. I go and reload it. You have seen that I have not made any changes to Excel. As per Excel, there should be multiple cities. But instead of that, we now change to fourth rule type, which is constant. Constant means the value is constant for all the records which are getting loaded in the system. Sometimes we work for customers wherein the country is constant. They say that, okay, we deal with only US based customers. Irrespective of whatever it is, you have to show the country name as US. Okay, something like that. Now I have executed the constant option. It's taking with time. Why is it taking time? I don't know. Now, even though if I do that, this will not work. Even though if I load constant, you can see the constant value in the new data table, but you can see the constant value in the new data table, but when we activate it, why is it not showing this? Okay. Okay. See why it was not showing is I did a mistake. I changed transformation, but my DTP became inactive. It doesn't show that it is inactive. So whenever I make changes to rule type in transformation, see, I have to click here. Then it shows here the DTP is inactive. Even though I'm trying to load it, it does not load the data because the status of the DTP is revised inactive. I need to first activate the DTP. Do you remember I have said in the class few times, whenever you make changes to transformation rules, you always have to activate the DTP again. Now, once you activate, it is active. Sometimes the status here is misleading, even though it is active, but it will not be active. So you need to reactivate it. Now the request has started. Is it clear?
Yeah.
I go to administer data target, close this. I load it. Sorry, see here inbound table. You can see here for all the customers, the name is in the address is Chicago. But if you activate it, and when you go to active data table, you will notice that this is not getting reflected. Reason why it doesn't get reflected? In fact, it got failed as well. The activation did not happen. There is some sort of error. Okay, value Chicago is hexadecimal. So what it does is system does not like anything which is in what? Lowercase. This is something we have to be mindful of. In BW, especially in SAP, it treats uppercase and lowercase differently. If it is same, then we have to give a hexadecimal type, but I don't want to increase the complexity. In order to address this requirement, I need to what? I need to change the transformation rule and keep the value constant in uppercase. I cannot use here lowercase. In Chicago, I have used what? Lowercase. I need to keep all the values, all the characters as uppercase. Okay. Once I activate this transformation, what is my next step? What should be my next step? To what? To do what? What do I need to do once I activate the transformations? I need to activate what? Which object? After transformation comes what? DTP.
DTP, yeah. DTP.
I need to activate the DTP now. Okay. So reactivate the DTP first. Now it is active. Once DTP is active, I load the data. Let us load it and activate it and see it. Now it should not throw any error. I load the data in the DTP. Okay. I go to administer data target. I close this, right click, inbound table, it's fine. Okay. See, Chicago should be there for all. But if I activate it, what would happen is the activation will happen, request will become successful, but the values will not get displayed. Chicago for all the fields. Because it's a characteristic, it will not overwrite it. If you see here, display active data table, then it will still show the old. Oh, good. It got changed. Huh? Strange. So the values got reflected here. That's a constant. Okay. Maybe only for no update it does not work, but for constant, it made change. It made changes with the constant. Maybe for no update, it does not work like that. Okay. So the values got reflected. So far we have seen 4 different rule types. What are those? Again, can someone repeat?
The rule type is constant.
Constant, correct. The 4th one is constant. And previous 3 are what?
We have the direct assignment, we have formula, and then
You have the
No update, correct. And then constant. So there are two more rule types, which is
and you are saying that so you are saying that we have to type in all uppercase with a Chicago when it comes to okay, so lowercase will give you a problem when it comes to constant. Okay.
Correct. Okay, we will see now most important rule type. Show rule. For instance, what we can do is look up Lookup is slightly difficult to show unless we activate the standard object. So I don't want to confuse now. I think we will see this one first. Routine. Okay. Routine is something wherein you can write the ABAP code to modify the contents. You can write the logic yourself. Okay. Click on the edit and it will open the editor, ABAP editor. Okay. Here you Z P1 something. I just give some name of the project. This is the place where it writes all the methods and procedures and programming. So ABAP, if you learn ABAP, then you can do the coding here. Okay, to make the changes. So now the good thing is, it is not the standard ABAP which we used to do in BW for HANA. The ABAP is slightly different. It is ABAP Managed Database Procedures, AMDP. Okay, it is slightly different to the previous ABAP, and I don't want to confuse you. Whatever we used, like constant or no update or what else did we use? Direct assignment and
assignment formula. Update.
All the four can be written via ABAP code. You can write an ABAP logic here using the programming language. Whatever we use the options, those four can be used here as well. We can, someone who is very good in ABAP, he will not, even though we can just simply go and use those options, they will prefer to go here and write the logic and get the required results. Now in BW world, what we do is, even I have been working in this field for several years. I'm not that proficient in ABAP. So what I do is, in my project, I ask openly that, okay, I need assistance from ABAP to do the coding for me. What you need to do is, you need to show him this location and ask him to say that, okay, this is my requirement. You write the logic for me. Then he will write the logic for you. ABAPer would like that, write the logic for you. That is one option. Second option is, if you learn ABAP, it would definitely help you out. ABAPers are always in demand, and your understanding for the subject would also increase. So that we can discuss later. Like if you want something, then I can assist you with that as well. That's not a problem. Okay. So, but this is the place where we write the ABAP logic. And last one is lookup. Lookup is something, say you look up into the master data values for your objects. We don't have any specific master data. Maybe you do a bit of research and try to do it yourself. If you don't find it, then maybe next week or so you can ask me. Okay. So this week is very critical for you all. We have finished the transformations. Now, in the next class, I will quickly go through with the DTPs and stuff and show you some other options in the DTPs, like error DTPs and stuff. Okay. Whatever I have shown today and previously as well, few of the classes, it's not part of the actual curriculum of ZaranTech. If you see the content, our content, course content, we have already finished the course content. Okay. I'm taking the advanced topics just to ensure that your understanding is sound. We know what we are doing. And again, I will reiterate what is important for us so that you know what we are doing. Okay. Maybe next week or the following week, we will finish the sessions. Okay. I will share my screen again. Okay. And and show you. Are you able to see the ZaranTech?
Yeah,
Slide?
we can see the PowerPoint.
Okay. So here is the syllabus course content. We have learned about introduction to BW for HANA. We have learned about migration, learned about HANA modeling. Okay, but so this is about native HANA modeling. So one topic which is left is next week I'm going to talk about is embedded analytics. This is outdated, obsolete, it is not needed. We have learned about creating calculation views in a couple of weeks before class, but this has got nothing. Again, if you are not comfortable in this area, which is native HANA modeling and embedded analytics, it's okay. That's not part of BW skills. That's something additional as an add-on, which would be a value-added skills for you. Likewise, if you learn ABAP, it's a value addition. If you learn these things, it's always a value addition, but it's not part of a BW actual core BW skill set. For the time being, you can just ignore this area and then focus on this one. This one is very critical. When you're talking about BW for HANA, this is the most important chapter. Okay, and then we have LSA++ architecture is just the theoretical architecture which I have shown you how the architecture looks like. Then mixed modeling scenarios we have seen in the previous class. We have also seen the theoretical concepts. We can't show the practicals here. In the data management, like hot data, cold data, and warm data. We also finished the data provisioning, how to extract it. There are some issues in the extraction. So maybe if the system is resolved, then I will take one more session on the extraction and try to explain that, and embedded analytics. So these are the two actual areas which I would revisit.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.